So good afternoon, everyone. So I'm here today as I mentioned, I'm senior lecturer here in physical geography, and I'm here to share a little bit of my experience as a user of the tool, the research risk profile. But I'll start to introducing myself a little bit about my research, what I do. So I'm a biologist, and I work with earth observation to study forests, to map forests, estimate biomass, carbon, things like that, in the tropics. And I did my master and PhD in Brazil in the National Institute of Space Research. And then I didn't have any international contact in that time too much. But then I moved to Europe, where I started some connections with the European Space Agency, where I did a postdoc, and then I moved to UK in 2016, working at University of Leicester. And one interesting thing I did there is to work in a project called Forest 2020, funded by UK Space Agency, where we are helping some countries, 6 different countries in the global south, like Kenya, Ghana, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, and Indonesia, to establish the monitoring, the forest monitoring systems in the countries, and some countries that didn't have, and to the countries that already had a little bit of the system, we supported to improve the monitoring system. So it was really the first big consortium where I started to find challenges how to work in international team. It was very rewarding, but also challenging. So, and I'll explain a little bit more further in my talk. In 2019, I moved to Manchester, and then I continued working with international partners in other projects. I already mentioned that I use field work, earth observation, data analysis to study biodiversity, forest structure, carbon, everything related with forests in the tropics. And my experience with the tool that I'm presenting, that I'm sharing today, it was this year that I was preparing a UKRI Future Leaders Fellowship proposal, and Gail mentioned to me about this tool. So the project was involving earth observation, climate simulations, and artificial intelligence to work with forests. And it was involved in this project 6 different organizations in Brazil that I know for some time, and one organization that I don't know, that I started my connections this year actually, basically. So the tool helped me a lot to navigate, especially with the new partnerships, how to deal with, how to navigate the challenges, and also make more clear how I would carry on my relationship with my established partners already. Okay, so the tool showed that there is at least 3 key considerations that we need to think, reflect when we deal with international partners. For example, who is funding your research, right? It is the responsibility of the researcher to check funding source, what interests they represent, and if there is any conflicts with their own, what controls are in place, who owns the research, who owns the data, things like that. As well, how well do you know your research partners? Is a long-term relationship that established over the years, is a new relationship. In my experience with this project, for example, I have 10 years experience with 6 partners, but this one, it was the first time I approached them. So it was very, very interesting. So the researchers should look into a background and connections with the partners and let clear everything in the beginning. Would they have any conflicts or things like that? And if they already work with other organizations as well, that you might be some conflicts of interest. How is your research being used? So you'll be used in an appropriate way. There are some ethical issues that need to be think about. So it is important to think about how research results could be used and consider how to prevent partners and other people with assess the research for doing this inappropriately. So the tool, the research risk profiler, encompass 7 different steps that you take only 15 minutes to fill in. It's a questionnaire that you fill in 15 minutes, quite handy. And encompass 7 steps. The first one is like you answer some set of questions about which countries you're gonna work with, what are the research relationships that you have with them, recruitment visitors, how we're gonna navigate this, regulated research areas, managing information and knowledge sharing, commercial application, travel, and salvaguarding as well. So it was very interesting to keep a time and reflect on all of these questions. And then think as well about mitigation risks, how you can mitigate the risks in relation to this relationship that you're establishing. So it allowed me to visualize a range of risks, profiles, and planning the research ahead, and identify areas and additional set time to address project risks and collaborations together with PS teams. Okay? So try to summarize how did it help. So I'm gonna encompass 4 different aspects here. So how to plan working with international partners to answer the questions, for example, identify and assess risks, manage and build contingencies of these risks. The tool provides a structured framework to consider data sharing, how the data are going to sharing, what's the policies behind this, the communication and knowledge exchange as well, how you exchange the data and what you produce with the data, evidence-based approach to support risk assessment and management strategies. Strengthen the grant application. Yeah, this I felt. Strengthen the grant application by being more robust regarding risks and mitigation plans. So I felt much more confident to write this proposal and have very clear everything that I should do and all the risks that the research could bring and how to anticipate them. In these collaborations. And also interesting thing is like introduce me for new concepts, for example, the academic technology approval scheme that is like when I moved to UK, I don't remember to have this, but for example, if some researchers, PhD students or international students come to do some research in UK, they need to have this approval if they're gonna work with sensitive research, for example, military weapons, things like that. So it's a scheme. You need to get these students or researchers need to get the approval of the government in terms of visa and things like that. It was very interesting. I would use this in the future. Yes, I would. It helped me, as I mentioned, a lot to navigate all the challenges, to work with international partners. If you don't, especially if you are starting to build a new relationships with the research worldwide. And the tool definitely strengthens my proposal and provide me with tailored checklists of risks and process. It was also useful because you can generate a PDF, and then you can share this PDF with your research officer or the PS team. And I included the description of the tool in my proposal to UKRI as well, saying that we thought about it, about the risks to collaborate with international partners, how it mitigates. So it helped me to address in a little paragraph in my proposal. So, yeah, it's a comprehensive tool which ensures researchers in all career stages are signposted to essential PS advice and guidance to address their bespoke project risks and requirements. And here then is how to assess the tool So it's through StaffNet. If you have general feedbacks, if you use the tool, have general feedbacks, you can write for this email here. If you have any specific questions, requests related to the tool, Gail is here. She can answer them. And here's like a address for you to access the tool. Yeah, thank you. I think I passed the time.